Mr. Speaker, what is the reason for the federal shutdown?
Well, I don't think there's any great mystery. President Clinton hurt my feelings very, very badly. He was mean. He made me sit on the back of Air Force One and he wouldn't even talk to me. Everybody knows I always get sick when I sit on the back of a plane, but Clinton didn't care. And then while he's putting away a 5-course meal, all I get is a bag of peanuts. And then they make me exit off the rear part of the plane and they don't even say goodbye to me.
You kind of sound a little bit like a crybaby.
Do not.
Do too.
Do not.
Do too.
Not.
Do.
Not.
Do.
Not.
Okay, guess I was mistaken.
Okay, well now, is there anybody else who has any questions they'd like answered?
Mr. Speaker, will you meet with the Budget Committee today?
Well, not right away, because I got to go down for a nap first. That. I gotta tell you, it's been such a crazy week here in Seattle, a crazy week in the news. There are just all these rumors about Boeing flying around. I just want to set the record straight. Now listen to me. Boeing is going to merge with McDonnell Douglas, not McDonald's. Would you stop this? It's all these misleading stories early in the week. It caused all sorts of panic, you might have seen that Airbus just in a move, they announced they're going to merge with Burger King. They're panicking. Dairy Queen, they're going to merge with Cessna, and by the end of the day, no one merged with Arby's, which I don't know, it's like, you're like, what is that? It's not a surprise if you've been there, it's all right. Would have been interesting, however, if Boeing had merged with McDonald's, just, in time for the holidays, we'd have the Boeing gift certificates, which, good stocking stuffers, denominations, 5 or 10 billion, just right there in the... It'll all be run by Mayor McSchrantz, which I think is a good name. Actually, yes, a good name. It paints a good picture, I know. The Wall Street Journal, actually, they got that misinformation. You might have seen this earlier in the week. They did a lengthy analysis of what would happen if Boeing and McDonald's merged. You probably all saw that article, but for those of you at home who didn't, we'd like to show you some of their findings. For example, the planes would be delivered in a styrofoam box, so that's one. Also, Ronald McDonald would have his medical benefits cut. That's pretty much a given there. That's a given. A lot of clown-related injuries, and be tough. It's got the house. Anyway, there'd be the new sign over Boeing headquarters, over 70 billion naps taken. Right? All flight control systems would be lubricated with secret sauce. Now here's a good one. Foreign dignitaries who purchase a plane will be invited to dive into a big room full of plastic balls while their planes are being made. And finally, the Happy Meal will be changed to the Disgruntled Striker Meal, which is good. It's an interesting concept. Interesting changes. Well, he said, segueing, if you've had the television on at all, you've seen that it's just loaded with ads for all these big blockbuster holiday movies, and we've got a clip from a very exciting new thriller that's on its way any day now. Take a look.
I demand $1 billion, or I will blow up the White House and the Kingdom, or at least that dumb-looking tent thing next to it.
Moneypenny, get me 007.
Today's biggest box office star is now the world's greatest secret agent. Bond in Golden Box.
007, we have new equipment for our agents in the field.
Hey, it's a whoopee cushion.
That's no ordinary whoopee cushion, James. If you were to sit on it, it will explode with the force of 22 tons of TNT.
Really?
Yes, and this, essential should you be captured. The rubber snotty nose. You put it in your nose, your captures are so grossed out, they simply release you.
Thank you, P.
Q.
There's a man who leads a life of danger.
Hello, I'm Lotta. Lotta Bazookas.
Yummy.
And you are?
Bond. James Bond. 007. Secret agent. Licensed to kill.
That's enough.
And licensed
Bring his ass to me.
Okay, weenie roast, that's just fine, but actually, I'm not hungry. Okay. Woo! Smokehead! Somebody stop it! Loser! The who? Alrighty then. Bye-bye now. Do not go in there!
Jim Carrey is James Bond in Golden Box.
All right, stay with us. We have a wonderful show, and we'll be right back.
We are again asking people questions on the street. The moisture that condenses on a warm day and then appears during the night as little droplets is called dew. The opposite of nay is aye. Cemeteries put people 6 feet under. A lump in a piece of string or rope is called a knot. If you can't eat an entire butterhorn, you may only want have. Cindy Crawford is a real turn on. By the way, you have a spider on you. Where? So once again, to summarize what we just heard, I do not have on underwear.
Hi, how may I help you? I bought these socks, and I wore them once, but I just don't like the feel of the fabric. Could I still return them?
Of course. Would you like me to credit your account?
Yes, please. I'm going to take a look around.
Great. May I help you, sir?
Yeah, I'd like to return something.
I can do that for you.
Well, I'm not really positive I got it in this department, and I seem to have misplaced the receipt. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well, it hasn't been used much.
Would you like store credit or cash?
Cash, if that's not a problem.
Not at all.
Thanks.
Have a great weekend. Hi.
Hi, I'd like to make an exchange.
Certainly.
I'm returning this, and I'd like that.
Jake?
No, that one.
Oh, Connor.
I don't know what I was thinking. You know how it is, anniversary sale, impulse buy.
We've all done it. Sign here, please.
All right. I got him home, and I just didn't like the way he looked on me.
Believe me, working here with the employee discount, I've made a ton of mistakes. Would you like a gift box today?
No, not today.
Thanks for shopping at Nordstrom.
Excuse me, miss.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a return.
No problem.
Great.
Now, did you want store credit or cash?
Cash.
And did you have your
Good evening and welcome to Today Tonight. I'm Pat Cashman. Now, tomorrow, of course, is part one of the Beatles anthology, and we're all going to be taking that magical mystery tour down Beatle Lane, or maybe I should say Penny Lane. And so tonight we have with us by satellite one of the world's foremost Beatles experts, Horace Fleencracker. Welcome, Mr. Fleencracker.
Thank you, Pat.
Now, I know you can't see us, but we can see you just fine, okay?
Good.
Now, what prompted you to become a Beatles expert?
Oh, gosh, I'd have to say there are two moments that were significant to my development as a Beatles expert, Pat, and the first would be April 14th, 1965, when I first heard Ticket to Ride.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I remember the date because that was the date the single was released in the United States. And I say United States because, of course, it had already been released in the United Kingdom on April 9th. But April 14th was my big day, Pat, and although I didn't know it at the time, that was also the exact date the name of the second Beatles movie was changed from 8 Arms to Hold You to Help. In fact, they were filming one of the scenes from Help on April 14th. It was the scene where they all go into the same house through 4 different doors, and as you'll recall, that scene was shot in London on Ailsa Avenue near Twickenham Film Studios. And I bring the studios up because, of course, this is where the Let It Be film was shot from January 2nd to January 17th, 1969, as well as scenes for A Hard Day's Night and Help, and also promotional films for Hey Jude and Revolution. Now, that's the Revolution that was on the single released on August 28th, 1968, and not the slower version, Revolution #1 from the White Album, which was, in fact, the first of the 2 versions to be recorded. Now, this would have been on May 30th, 1968 at Abbey Road Studios during what turned out to be a pretty long recording session, too, Pat, from 2:30 in the afternoon until 2:40 in the morning. Can you believe that? Even though the studio was only booked until midnight. But, of course, they recorded 18 takes of the song on that day. Although, in fact, you know, it was actually 16 takes since there were no takes numbered 11 or 12. But the point is that by take number 18, which was actually take 16, the song had really started to take shape and, in fact, ran for 10 minutes and 17 seconds, the last 6 of which were cut off to become the basis for Revolution #9, which at 8 minutes and 15 seconds is the longest Beatles song. Some people would say too long and complain that it just goes on and on and on and on and on without ever really getting anywhere. But, you know, this has never really bothered me, Pat. But, of course, Revolution #1 wouldn't actually be finished until Friday, June 21st.
Hey, John.
Hey, Pat.
I cut my foot with a toenail clippers. You got a Band-Aid?
No. Hey, aren't you in the middle of an interview?
Yeah. Did your power go out last night?
No, we lost the cable, but the lights
I lost the whole work.
And Freddie Clayton. I guess the most interesting thing, Pat, is that Paul wasn't even at this session. He had flown to the United States.
Would be to get a generator.
Oh, yeah, you live out in the sticks. You need one
with
out
that
there.
generator, you don't have to worry about it. It'll be cool.
April 14th, 1965 marked the first significant moment in my development as a Beatles expert. Pat?
Do you hear anything? Oh, nuts. Wow. Boy, I was struck speechless there for a minute.
Yeah.
That was that riveting.
Yeah.
Thanks for being our guest tonight.
Now, the second significant moment in my development as a Beatles expert would have to be the August 25th, 1966 concert at the Coliseum in Seattle. And here's what I'm talking about. The evening performances were sold out.
We are on the street asking people questions. The best possible grade on a report card is an
A.
If you can't send a present, you should at least send a
Card.
Lipton makes real good
T.
Instead of a mouth, ducks have a
Bill.
In The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy's aunt's name is
M.
People who have different ways of walking are said to have different
Gates.
Have you answered all these questions truthfully?
I have.
So again, to summarize what we just heard.
I have Bill Gates. A. T. M. Card.
This is the Late Report. Well, Norm Rice was named the funniest mayor in America during HBO's Comic Relief last weekend, drawing praise from the judges who said his underwater voice routine was hysterical. Rice said that he was thrilled but a little confused, as he had spoken in his normal voice the whole time. Although Mayor Rice was very pleased with his performance, by the way, and I think we have a clip of his reaction about winning. Funniest mayor in America. All right. Well, a King County jail inmate has made a string of collect obscene phone calls. Now, the inmate says it's the recipient's own fault for saying yes when the operator asks, will you accept a collect obscene call from an inmate? Well, the main themes to emerge in the Oregon State Senate race to replace Bob Packwood are trustworthiness and character. Also, the ability not to stick your tongue down a woman's throat. Ooh, yes. Oh, well, the promoters of the Champions Tour of tennis players over 30...
John, excuse me. Okay, remember a couple of weeks ago during the late report you were telling jokes and I came out here and I asked if you were mad at me because that morning you had not said good morning to me. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, well just now I was standing over on the side with Tracey, right? We're watching you tell your jokes and I was noticing how focused you are. And suddenly it occurred to me that when I came out here last time, I must have really thrown you off. I mean, I can see now that it was a bonehead move on my part. I mean, it was stupid. I shouldn't have done it. I just want you to know that I'm really sorry and I will not do it again. So I just want you to know that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
What? Are you mad at me now?
You know, I really don't think this is the time to talk about it, okay?
Hey, look, I didn't have to come out here, okay? I mean, I'm being open, okay? I'm getting vulnerable. I'm admitting that I made a mistake, and now you're playing this whole passive-aggressive thing on me. Oh, now's not the time to talk about it. Well, you know, excuse me, Mr. Comedy Show host, Mr. Boss of the Universe. Hey, let's all just hail the God King of everything. Oh, hail to the God King. Oh, yes. Well, you know something? It doesn't matter because I'm never going to come out here again, okay? So just go back and tell your stupid little jokes, which, by the way, they're laughing at you, not with you.
Always nice to have a little visit from Nancy. Well, the promoters of the Champions Tour of tennis players over 35 years old say they won't bring it back to Seattle next year because of low attendance here last week. Now, they warn that this could give Seattle a bad reputation as a city that won't pay a lot of money to watch old guys play tennis. The Metropolitan Savings Holiday Carousel is being constructed at Westlake Park. Now, the carousel promises to give children a warm, traditional holiday feeling and spin them around until they throw up. Now, here with a commentary are Joel McHale and Bob Nelson. Joel, Bob, go ahead.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. When Al Gore became Vice President of the United States nearly 4 years ago, I truly believe that our national parks, forests, waters, and wetlands would finally receive the strong protection that they so desperately need. Sadly, that has not been the case. You see, Bob and I recently spent a couple of days camping in the North Cascades. We arrived at our campsite on Saturday around noon and spent the rest of the day drinking and smoking dope. Sometime after dark, I stumbled into the woods and blew some major big-time chunks. Then I blacked out. But when I came to a couple of hours later, I saw that my vomit hadn't landed on lush green vegetation or on a beautiful flower as one might have expected, but rather on an old McDonald's wrapper. That's right, a McDonald's wrapper in the middle of the North Cascade Forest. The following morning, I woke up with the mother of all hangovers and a bulging bladder, so after pounding a beer to steady my hands, I blindly stumbled down to the river's edge where, to my shock and surprise, I found myself peeing onto an old tire. How did a crummy, dirty old tire find its way into the pristine waters of the Snohomish? Well, at first I was stunned, then I became angry, and then I puked again. But my point is, good people, is simply this. A clean environment is not Al Gore's job. A clean environment is not even the government's job. A clean environment is everyone's job. Back to you, John.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Finally, the original Black Angus building on 2nd Avenue burned down last Tuesday. In Seattle, that means 1 down, 5 to go. This has been the Late Report. Don't go away because we'll be right back.
We are again on the street asking people questions. Cars come in various models and
makes.
Do you buy pop in the bottle or the can?
Can.
Who do you look out for when you're looking out for number one?
Me.
A female sheep is a ewe, a male sheep is a
ram.
The tip of South America is called Cape
Horn.
To get kids to quiet down, you make what sound?
Shh.
The joint between the thigh and the lower leg is called the
knee.
So again, to summarize what we just heard.
Can. Ram. Makes. Me. Horn. Knee.
That's right, I think Ken has that effect basically on all women in Seattle. Well, That's all the time that we have this week, and we just want to wish everyone a wonderful Thanksgiving. You know, we have a great tradition here on Almost Live. Oh, and if you want tickets, not to our Thanksgiving, but there's the line for tickets. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Yeah.